Good evening. This is Jack. How are you guys? You know, smuggling dope and selling dope, one has a tendency to tell the good stories, the ones with no trouble. Sort of like a gambler going to Las Vegas. No one likes to dwell on the times they lost. That pain in your guts for losing. Jesus, I hate that. This particular story, it's about winning, but there was some trouble. I got a call from the Brooklyn boy. This is in the early 80s after we're back from California, and we've established our abilities to sell tons and tons of marijuana. The Brooklyn boy, he calls, we get to his house, and he goes, hey, listen, we got a little situation. He goes, I know this Italian guy, and he works with just gringos. They're not, from a family, but they've got a little crew, and they smuggle small loads, but they manage to get their hands on a shrimp boat, and they have some serious merchandise. They've got 15,000 pounds of weed. Now, it's a little more than what they're used to flipping because they're good to, they can take care of 1,000, up to a ton, but this is a little much for them. And since they're my friends, I don't want my partners to know. He said, I'd like to just kind of go behind their backs and, you guys sell it for me, and we make a little deal, and we cut them out. And I said, no problem, because this is a friend. This is my dear, dear friend. He's the Brooklyn boy that passed away in '89. I love this guy. Well, anyway, so we go and we see the guys, and this is a big guy. The Italian boy is not from Brooklyn or New York or up north. He was born and raised in South Miami. And seriously, he weighed a little over 400 pounds. Nicest guy you could ever meet. The guys worked with him, though, were sort of that redneck element. I never particularly cared for those racist redneck cocksuckers. I never did then, and I still don't now. But anyway, we go, and he said, well, listen, he trusted the Brooklyn boy. He looked up to the Brooklyn boy, and this kid was quite a bit younger than us, but he was a pretty good smuggler for small boats, little 36, 38-foot sailboats, 1,000, 2,000 pounds. Well, we said, well, here's the rules, put it on us, and we'll get to working on the merchandise, and everything's good. So what he does is we flip the truck down at the McDonald's down in Perrine, and in that truck I think there was 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, and we gave it to the good Cubans, and they went to work on it immediately. And then he said, okay, well, listen, I'll front all the rest of it. So we fronted the total 15,000 pounds. Well, we were probably a week into the deal, and we had probably come up with, $700,000-800,000. And we get the call from the guy's wife. He had tipped over dead in the kitchen, 31 years old, and dropped dead, a complete mind fuck. Well, we said, Jesus Christ. Our first thoughts went to, him, but real close to our first thoughts were, wait a minute, we got 15,000 pounds of that crew's weed. Well, one of the little redneck cocksuckers got on the phone, said he wanted the weed back. And so the Brooklyn boy, was a real diplomat and really did know how to talk. And, he's kind of like a union organizer. He worked out deals between the Colombians and the Cubans. In fact, he taught me how to do that, how to interface, liaison between enemies. And the Brooklyn boy said, you're going to cause a lot of trouble. We've already got the merchandise fronted out. And then the redneck interrupted him and said, hey, you don't give the merchandise back, you got a fucking problem. Well, the Brooklyn boy hung up on him right then on the spot and said, hey, let's go. Well, we were at the Brooklyn boy's house, and there was probably 6 of us at the house. And he goes, I got a problem with the rednecks. Well, the real problem was they didn't live any more than 10 minutes away. So right away, I had a townhouse up in Kendall Lakes. And so we said, okay, listen, you just come with us. So me and the big guy, we took the Brooklyn boy to the townhouse up in Kendall Lakes, and we shut the house up. We told everybody else to get into the wind. Well, we got up to Kendall Lakes, and I said, oh, okay. Now listen, let's think this through. We don't want to be driven from our own homes. We don't want a problem. Now, this crew did not really know me and the big guy very well, but they did know what we looked like. I said, well, maybe I can bluff them. And the Brooklyn boy said, well, let's try. So we went out on the street. Oh, I guess it was around midnight. And the first call we made was to the big Italian's wife. And we told her, hey, listen, sweetie, we're terribly sorry. I mean, this is terrible what's happened. We want to let you know that you're not going to lose any money. We're going to take care of you, but we're not, and I repeat, we're not going to give that merchandise back. All right? Is there any way that you can cool out the rednecks and tell them that everything's all right? And she goes, really, I have no control over them, and, quite frankly, they're being rude, and, they never would have talked like that when the old man was alive, and he hasn't been dead, a day, and here they are talking all kinds of shit. And I said, okay, well, listen, what's that main redneck's telephone number? And she gave me the number. When I say me, she gave the Brooklyn boy the number. And then we went back to ground. We got over to Kendall to the condo, and we formulated a game plan. I said, I'm going to see if I can bluff these guys. So we waited till the next day, and I think it was 5, 6 in the afternoon. I called him. And I said, hey, how are you? And he goes, who's this? And I said, I'm with the Brooklyn boy. And he goes, and which one are you? And I said, I'm with, I'm the little guy with the big guy. And he goes, yeah, hey, listen, I want you to tell the Brooklyn boy. I said, whoa, hold on. Here's the deal. You've sassed and disrespected the Brooklyn boy. Right now, you got a fucking problem. The Brooklyn boy is not giving back 1 pound of fucking herb. And what we're going to do, and what we prepared for in the last 24 hours, is to go to war with your fucking ass. And if you do not change your tone, if you do not change your story, if you do not show proper respect, consider yourself at war with us. We'll move on you right fucking now. Nobody's living at the house anymore. You have nowhere to go. You're like a fish out of water. You're just basically a stupid fucking redneck shithead, and I'm not going to put up with your shit. Now, when we move on you, we're going to move on you first. We're going to concentrate all of our action on your fucking ass. We're not going to be sassing and threatening, and this isn't about fist fighting. This is about moving on your fucking ass. You have fucked up. He said, I'm sorry. I go, what? I was shocked. I figured the guy would talk some shit, and, and there was going to be a big fucking problem. He goes, I apologize. I was out of line. He goes, I apologize all the way around. I don't want any trouble from you guys. I went, good. But listen, we never want to see you again. We're never going to talk to you again. We don't want to see any of your fuckboys. Don't come by any of our houses. Do not go by the Brooklyn boy's house. If the Brooklyn boy ends up with so much as a fucking, a key scraped on his car, you're at war. This fucking ends right now. We'll pay the monies owed to the monies that were agreed to, and that was $270 a pound to his wife. And we're going to take our fucking time, and we're going to maximize the dollar. For you fucking up, we're going to have to take some of this merchandise out of state, and it may be a few weeks before we get all the money. So right now, this is over. See you now. And he goes, see, I'm sorry, I apologize to the Brooklyn boy. I go, hey, good. I said, you're a lot smarter than I thought. Appreciate it. Hung up the phone, took care of the business. Took probably 2 months to sell all that merchandise. Case was closed. It was over. Never saw them, heard from them, or had any trouble with them again. Hey, listen, thanks a lot. Have another one for you in a few days. See you then. Bye.